Hi, it's Oz here. I thought what I'd do today is show you one of the swords that I have at home. Have a little bit of a chat about that. This one was a gift from Matt and Lucy. Mat Easton of the Schola Gladiatoria channel and his wife Lucy. Lucy's my wife's sister, so that's where that connection comes from. But I won't go into the incestuous nature of humour. I just want to tell you a little bit about this sword. Now this is one of a number that I have. I don't proclaim to be a particularly great collector, certainly not in the same league as Matt, but I've got a few interesting little pieces. This is a Masonic sword. For those of you that are interested in these things, you can see fairly clearly it's a very standard cross grip with a Maltese cross style splayed crosspiece on it. It's got a single piece brass cast hilt with a wire wrap effect to the casting. That's fairly standard. It's got a very small pommel that doesn't actually do much in the way of counterweights. As with most Masonic swords, it's not a brilliant sword, but there's a few things that make this one a little bit special. The first is that it was made by Spencer and Company, who were based on Great Queen Street in London, which is where the United Grand Lodge of England is based. So there's a nice little Masonic connection there. I don't know whether Spencer & Co were the people that commissioned and sold the swords, or whether they were actually the swordsmiths that made them. I'll maybe have a chat to Matt and see if I can get him to do a video about that. But that's quite a nice little connection. It's got quite a bit of etching down the blade because it's quite an old thing and it's not been kept in the best of nick. It's been restored beautifully, but the etching isn't easy to see. You would assume that this would have been bright and blued, so that the etching would be really quite obvious at some stage. But now that's long gone. It's got a proper ricasso and a proper blade. It's a single piece. It's a double-edged blade. It's ground into an oval profile down the blade, and it's got a degree of distal taper to it, which is quite unusual for Masonic swords. In general, they are very much wall hangers. They're not designed to be used. They're just a part of Masonic regalia to be used in Masonic rituals, to be carried by Masons within certain side orders of Masonic. Do you know what? I've completely forgotten the word. But yeah, essentially the Knights Templar and some of the other knightly orders of Masonry use swords as part of their regalia. Now, this one's it's lovely. The blade is an actual proper blade. It's been made properly. You can see it's got a degree of flex to it. It springs back into shape beautifully. It's obviously been made by somebody that understands how swords are supposed to be made. It's clearly been hardened and tempered effectively to give it that spring. It's not been sharpened, so it doesn't have a usable edge on it. But it clearly could be. It's close enough. I say it's got this distal taper. It's got a nice ricasso on it, and it's a pretty long blade for a Masonic sword. It's a 32-inch blade from cross to tip, and the tip's actually pretty sharp as well. I don't know if you can see that. See if I can get it up to the camera. So it's actually something a little bit special. So anyway, there's not a great deal else to say about it, other than if you see something like this and it's a reasonable price, do snap it up. They can be lovely swords. Don't write swords off just because they're Masonic in nature. This one's really quite special. So thanks for bearing with me while I just ramble endlessly on about my sword. I'm not going to talk about the Masons any more than to say that they use swords. At least not in this video. We might do in future. If you'd like me to talk about Masonic conspiracy theories, do give me a shout. Let me know. It can be a bit of fun. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.